Anti-Afro Spangalis. Shout out to David Bowie and rest in peace, David Bowie. The reason why I played this montage of David Bowie is that here we are 50 plus years later and there's still a problem. When I say there's still a problem, if someone is expressing themselves, that's who they are. They're not going to care what someone else thinks about it. David Bowie never cared. He came on expressing who he was. But the rush is on to put this hard label on something. You're going to have problems. Look at Little Nas X. I have to bring this up. And yes, it is related to what happened with Money Wallace, Miss Money Long Wallace, whatever the screen name is. The person who put the information out about Laquan Fisher, aka Rage Pigs, Ray Triggs, whatever you want to call him. The problem with Little Nas X is he's using this whole getup to bury, not to express self. And this is why we have the issue. This is why he's going to continue to have issues. I think it's a trade-off for him. He disclosed that he supports the entire family. Oh yes, we'll fake accept who you are and what you do and how you express as long as you keep paying the bills, our bills. It's a trade-off. But it's very different when you have others trying to force a label on you versus someone like David Bowie who was simply deciding and feeling and expressing who he is. Not going to ever care about whether somebody accepted him. Who the hell cares if someone's accepting you? Now, if you are burdened by trying to get people to accept you, this is when you start putting labels on other people. This is when you start putting men in women's clothes. The men that are being picked, they have the clothes put on them and female body parts put on them. Think about the person, what they're dealing with, who's doing this. They're not expressing themselves. They're trying to force someone else to express something that doesn't apply to them. Hence, the continuous practice of putting women's clothing and putting women's body parts on men. Meanwhile, where's the expression of self with the one who's trying to force all of this status, all this sexual orientation, all these gender labels on others who are not expressing themselves in that way? Just like with Little Nas X, it goes so far overboard, it's an attempt to bury. Now look what happened to Little Nas. The judge is saying, you're not coming to this hearing. He's not at this hearing. As long as he stays his ass in an inpatient facility, we're good. The second he leaves, we need to get back into court. There's a serious problem. It blew up. It was never going to work. He's still struggling with being accepted. He's whining. He's crying. He's griping about gay people aren't accepted in the country music industry. Gay people aren't accepted in the rap industry. If you're going to focus on an entire industry accepting you, industries plural, forget it. You got to focus on those who do accept you. If this is important to you, being accepted, why are you focusing on those who don't accept you? Because you're not comfortable with what you're doing. You're not secure in what you're doing. You would cater to those who appreciate you. Who are they going to sit here and try to force somebody to accept you and you're griping about they don't accept you? This is going to cause an incredible amount of conflict, turmoil, and you're going to spiral. This is exactly what happened. Who spends time catering to someone who doesn't like you? You just subject yourself to abuse and harassment. You offer yourself up for abuse and harassment, trying to figure out a way to please those who will never, ever accept you. Period. Self-respect and image matters. When you're in the public spotlight, you didn't see Beyonce walking down the street 3/4 naked and eventually naked, jumping on cops. It has a lot to do with how you move about in the world. Do you think the country music industry wants to accept Lil Nas now after what happened? Can't force people to accept you. Focus on those who do accept you and those who do appreciate you instead of trying to win over abusers. And when I say abusers, those who recognize you're trying so hard to get their acceptance, they'll just end up taking advantage of you or making more of a mockery out of you because they know you're focused on them and you're worried about them. You have something to say about them, not, quote, accepting you, unquote. Who the hell cares if they're accepted? Express who you are and not give a shit about what someone else thinks. But when that happens, when you give all kinds of shits, that's when you start imposing on others. Here we have an incident of violence. Boy, oh boy, did it ever come out in a way that no one expected. But here we are, and now the problem has to be dealt with. Here's another problem that has to be dealt with. The situation with Miss Moneylongs Wallace. First off, I believe, I'll put money on it, that Rage Pigs knows who's doing this. It really doesn't make any difference when it comes right down to it, whether the YouTube page really matches up with the IG account. That the IG account came to YouTube and says, hey, everybody, and we do mean essentially everybody, hit me up on IG after I tell you about Laquan Fisher, making these statements about Laquan Fisher. Either way it goes, whoever's doing this knows very well what they're doing. Who's ever doing this has been inside with Rage Pigs. Just like Stargate was inside with Rage Pigs, just like Photon was inside with Rage Pigs. Now, what do I mean by that? Going back to 2021, who knew? Who would have known? As he's giving his legal name to Stargate, giving his legal name to Photon DNA, do you think he ever anticipated it would get to the point where he would make the decision online to perpetrate crimes? Now, we know what he does offline, but do you think that was in the cards? That he really thought this was what he was going to do? I guess he thought he can contain himself to offline criminal activity. Didn't happen. He exposed himself to others before he made the conscious decision to perpetrate, yes, the Social Security crimes. We're going to talk about this, folks, and this is related to Miss Moneylong, Miss Wallace. Whether you think the person is an imposter, the person purposely is doing what they're doing for a reason. So if he exposed himself to Photon and he exposed himself to Stargate, you don't think he exposed himself to others? This is my view about what happened with the Wallace situation. He let somebody in on what he was doing. Let someone know about the groups he was participating in these YouTube streets. Hey, look at this. Look at this group I'm in. Look at this. Look what's going on. I think he let someone in on it and then they fell out. And this person has information up the wazoo. Now, Stargate could have come out much sooner than she did. Photon could have come out much sooner than when he did. Neither did. But someone else out there has it in for Rage Pigs. Someone who he let in on who he was. I'll put money on he knows who it is. You think he's going to come here and tell everybody who it is? But somebody has it out for him. He won't even file a privacy complaint because he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. File a privacy complaint or a copyright strike. Knows that it further exposes him. He even admitted that much when he tried to go after Rev G and gave fake information. He thought he was going to keep hidden away. But Photon and Stargate already knew. Others already knew. They were just waiting out the situation to see how far he was going to go with it. So, what is his response? His response is to focus on sexual orientation bashing and misgendering of men that are not involved with what he's involved with. He's going to go the distance in his mind to try to place these men in a position to where they would have a different gender. They will have breasts. They will have women's clothes on. Going back to David Bowie, David Bowie's expressing himself. There wasn't somebody coming on the scene telling David Bowie this is what he was. It's just an attempt to bury the crap that has been done here in these YouTube streets, these crimes. And forget this garbage about a racist white dude. Rage Pigs got this information from Mona. He was the one behind the scenes trying to figure out where I lived. He was the one behind the scenes talking about my relatives. And then coming online, making all kinds of threats, using knives, constantly obsessing over me controlling Stargate and controlling breaking the culture of silence. No, that's all about his failure to achieve what he wanted with Stargate and breaking the culture. So he wants to default to me and now put a label on me. This is a label he wants to capitalize on for himself, and he wasn't able to. So he wants to go ahead and start perpetrating criminal behavior in these YouTube streets, because what he did is criminal. And these things, I'm going to sit up here and let him get away with it? No, I wasn't going to let him get away with it. I reported him to the police. They took it to the district attorney's office. It was close, but they asked for more information. They felt they couldn't get a conviction. Not quite. So you think I'm going to let somebody on probation who's violating regulations from A to Z, starting with paying grown man who's a convicted felon, who's up in these YouTube streets continuing to threaten people? You think I'm going to let Rage Pigs threaten me when he's running around with M3, who also has a criminal record, harassing, cyberbullying children? I'm going to sit here and allow Rage Pigs, Laquan Fisher, to subject me to any kind of bullshit? Hell no. I'm going to keep complaining until I'm satisfied. And him referencing me without my name is not going to work. He's referencing the city, and he's saying the same things that he has said before.